How did Kai Havertz go from one of the best talents in the Bundesliga to one of the worst signings in Chelsea's history? This is the rise of Kai Havertz. Havertz was born on June 11, 1999 in the small village in Maria, located just north of Aachen. Havertz's family was very passionate about football, and the senior members of the Havertz family knew he had potential. In an interview with Bundesliga.com, he said, "My grandpa really got me into football. He helped me take my first steps. Obviously, my brother and father also did their bit to get me out there playing at an early age. Everyone was football crazy, and we were just a football family. We love football and everything revolving around it, so I grew up with it, and that's how the passion developed." At the age of 4, Kai joined Alemannia Mariendorf, where his grandfather Richard was the club's chairman. Havertz always had the potential to be a professional football player, but it still needed a lot of work to have a chance of playing professional one day. Luckily for him, he was never an average player. In his early days in football with Mariendorf, Havertz spent time playing in age groups 2 years above his own, and in 2009, aged just 10, he joined Alemannia Aachen, which was the biggest club in his region. Alemannia were a Bundesliga 2 side at the time, and Kai would watch them play regularly. However, Kai ended up only spending 1 year there. This wasn't because he wasn't good enough, but actually the exact opposite. The youngster was deemed way too good to be playing for them. Scouts had been monitoring Havertz's potential for a long time, and after a fantastic display against Bayer Leverkusen, one coach decided to look at him again. He said, "Kai was playing for Alemannia Aachen's under-12s. He was a year younger than everyone else and playing against a Leverkusen U12 side," said Slavomir Karki, a youth coach at Bayer Leverkusen. "I don't remember exactly how the game finished, 8-3 for us I think, but he scored all 3 of their goals. That was my first impression of Kai." And so, in the summer of 2010, Havertz was snapped up by Bayer Leverkusen, where he would continue his rapid ascent at such a young age. The left-footed playmaker was overcoming pretty much every obstacle put in his way, except for one. At the age of 14, Havertz was still one of the smallest players out there. However, by 15, he went through a dramatic growth spurt. He started gaining more height, which the player himself admits started affecting the way he played. Havertz started to struggle with his own physicality and started spending more time on the bench. The youngster managed to find a way around these teething problems, and in 2016, he guided Leverkusen to the U17 title. During that season, the teenage sensation scored 18 goals in 26 games, which also included a goal in the 2-0 win over Borussia Dortmund in the final. Bayer Leverkusen's senior coaches were quietly following Havertz's phenomenal rise, and a few months later, the youngster made his professional debut in a league game against Werder Bremen in October 2016. He was also awarded the U17's Fritz Walser Silver Medal for his consistent displays. Clearly, a star was born. Admitted that he was very excited to see Havertz's development. He decided to put him on the field for a few minutes to see how he would react to playing inside a capacity stadium, and the playmaker was not fazed at all. And in doing so, Kai Havertz became the youngest ever player to feature for Bayer Leverkusen's senior team at just 17 years, 4 months, and 5 days. The youngster put in a decent showing, and although he didn't have a goal or an assist to his name on his debut, it was clear that the player was destined for great things. After 16 Bundesliga appearances and a few assists, Havertz finally found the back of the net for the senior side against Val Wolfsburg in a high-octane encounter that saw both sides score 3 goals apiece. And in doing so, Havertz surpassed Julian Braun as the youngest ever goal scorer for Bayer Leverkusen. Confidence in the youngster's ability was growing. The club also handed him 3 substitute appearances in the Champions League. Funnily enough though, the youngster's high school forced him to miss the Champions League round of 16 clash against Atletico Madrid since he had to appear for an exam. They couldn't give my boy a free pass or something, but Havertz didn't make an issue of it and sought exemption from the team. Leverkusen finished the 16-17 campaign in a disappointing 12th place. However, Havertz was a bright light in an otherwise embarrassing campaign, and under his new interim boss, Havertz continued to feature regularly and went on to score his first ever Bundesliga brace in a 6-2 mauling of Hertha Berlin. The young playmaker also became the second youngest player to score 2 goals in a game, only behind Timo Werner. By the end of his debut campaign, Havertz has scored 4 goals and provided 6 assists in 24 appearances. Clearly, the German playmaker was destined for greatness. And so fast forward to his 50th consecutive appearance. With 2 great assists, he won the man of the match. This is what Julian Braun said when asked about his teammates' performance. Technically speaking, what he does in games sometimes is unbelievable. He'll continue to progress in the coming years, and if he stays at the top of his game, I have no doubt he'll become an amazing player. Kai now had the talent and potential to become a global star, and in the 17-18 Bundesliga campaign, it would become the one where he would introduce introduce himself to the world. That season, Bayern Leverkusen finished 5th in the league standings, and Havertz was given the under-19 Fritz Gold medal. By the end of the campaign, he had 7 goals and a whopping 15 assists to his name. But wait, that wasn't his ceiling. This was only just the beginning. The 2018-19 campaign was more of a mixed bag for Havertz. During the beginning of the season, Havertz only scored 6 goals. But after new manager Peter Bosz came in, this completely changed Havertz. The Dutchman had extensive experience coaching young players in the Netherlands and readying them for first-team football. And in the final day of the campaign, Havertz scored the opening goal in a 5-1 win over Hertha Berlin. He finished the season scoring 17 goals, which was the most number of goals scored by a teenager in the league's history. This was due to his insane run at the end of the season, scoring 7 goals in 7 games. And because of this great form, Havertz was named in the 2018-19 Bundesliga team of the season. Ahead of the 1920 campaign, there was a lot of excitement around Havertz. Following a really stellar previous season, the youngster was expected to continue breaking new ground, and legendary German forward Lothar Matthäus even said the youngster could become a future Ballon d'Or winner, as long as he maintained his standards, of course. December 2019 was yet another milestone month for Havertz, becoming the youngest ever Bundesliga player to make 100 appearances. And in doing so, he ended the campaign with 18 goals and 9 assists. This led to all the big clubs coming in for Havertz: Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, and Barcelona, just to name a few. But Havertz signed for Chelsea in the summer of 2020 for a record-breaking £75 million. I remember at the time people calling this a bargain transfer. It's crazy how times can change. Anyways, Havertz's first season was very up and down, to say the least. He ended the campaign with 9 goals and 8 assists in all competitions, but did score the only goal in the Champions League final against Man City to help Chelsea win their 2nd Champions League. At this point, Chelsea fans were very understanding of Havertz. Usually when a foreign player comes to the Premier League, it takes a while for them to adjust to the intensity and physicality of the league. Also, funnily enough, the only goal that Havertz scored in the Champions League was in the final. Talk about clutch. Unfortunately though, the next season wouldn't get better for Havertz, ending the 21-22 season with 14 goals and 6 assists. At this point, Chelsea fans started to label Havertz a flop. But to be fair to him, Havertz was really never a striker or a winger. His best positions are playing right behind the striker in the number 10, or even as a box-to-box player as an 8. But because of Chelsea's formation at the time, which was the back 3, Havertz had to sacrifice his position for the team. And this led to Havertz getting unfairly treated as a forward. And now we're here, where Arsenal have just completed the signing of Kai Havertz for $65 million. I've seen a lot of Arsenal fans getting mad about this decision, but when you really think about it, when has Mikel Arteta and Edu made a mistake in the transfer market? Most of their signings have all hit. Aaron Ramsdale for $35 million. At the time, fans were going crazy, but now he's a key piece in their team. I can see the same thing happening with Kai Havertz. Like I said, his best positions are that 8 and 10 position. And with Xhaka leaving, maybe he could replace Xhaka. Last season was Xhaka's best season with 7 goals and 7 assists. The only thing that Havertz really needs right now is confidence. One of the best managers in coaching young players. I think he can get the best out of Havertz. Let me know down below what you guys think about this transfer. Of course, you're overpaying a bit, but if this works out, this could potentially lead Arsenal to winning a Premier League title one day. Take care and peace.